there's argument about Zachary testifying. His lawyer said he doesn't know how involved. His lawyer said that he didn't know Zachary was so involved in this YSL case, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. I guess that's what he's maintaining. I didn't know my client was one of these guys, is what he's saying, right? So he's saying pretty much he can testify. His fear is that he'll say stuff and then they'll charge him or indict him later. So we pretty much need an immunity. We need some type of immunity deal, and then he'll get up there and say whatever it is he got to say. So the state agreed, but the state immunity deal, of course, is the immunity deal 24-5-507, the one that will compel you to testify against your will. You lose your ability to plead the Fifth Amendment, and you have to testify. If you don't, you have to go to jail. You're held in contempt, civil contempt, until you purge yourself of your contempt, right? And to purge yourself, you got to testify. So the lawyer, Mr. Scheib, pretty much said, hey, give us one of these immunity orders and he'll talk, no problem. It's all good. He don't care. So, we find out the next day they definitely made that happen, but they agreed on whatever terms they agreed on and it happened, right? So let's get to Lil D. So Lil D comes in. Well, when lunch gets here, Lil D gets transported to the building. So everybody, I was in the cafeteria, but everybody knows, oh, hey, he just got here. Lil D just got here. He got here way quicker than they thought he was going to get here too, right? So his lawyer went and bought lunch for him and his client. His lawyer name is Mr. Scheib. He bought lunch for both of them. So we couldn't see him because he's an inmate. So he had to be upstairs wherever they was at, right? So he bought the lunch. He went to go talk to his lawyer when the deputies came and got him. Went to go talk to his client when the deputies came and got him, right? He goes up there. Everybody's gearing up. Okay, he's about to come now, finally. And I'm thinking we're about to see somebody that looks extremely sickly, like about to die, all that. But when he finally, so they started arguing about whether or not, he's going to be able to testify because he's on these drugs, OxyContin, different stuff like that. He just had pneumonia. He's sick. He's in a stressful situation because he was coming out of the hospital, gets put into jail. It's all bad. But the thing about it is, then he started arguing about whether or not the doctors are going to actually give consent to, Mr. Zachary will give consent to the doctors to release his medical information to the state. So Mr. Scheib adds that in there. He says, Judge, can you please bring my client out here so that he can tell y'all whether or not he's going to give consent to this information. They go back and forth for a little bit. I think this is all on camera. They go back and forth for a little bit, and then they bring Zachary out there. Zachary says, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, let him talk to my doctor. So then now I think they cut the cameras when the doctor got on the phone. So they actually brought the doctor in through Zoom, and the doctor was telling them, yeah, he has pneumonia, he has sickle cell disease, and he's been taking antibiotics and he's been doing good, responding well to the antibiotics. He's good now, right? He can testify. Yes, he took OxyContin around 9:00 a.m. It should be wearing off right around now. So he's good. He's going to probably have to take some more very soon. But even when he does take it, he will still be able to testify, no problem, right? So this doctor is on Zoom. They made the doctor swear in from the Zoom, like do the oath from the Zoom call, right? So he pretty much, and I'm going to be honest, Lil D, when he came in the courtroom, he looked in a lot better condition than I thought he was going to look in. I thought he was going to be in, right? So when the doctor said, yeah, he could testify, he seemed to be okay with it. He was like, whatever. Like they said I could testify, cool, I'm going to testify. So that's when they cut the cameras back on it. Then you see him start his testimony. Love starts out pretty much asking him, like, do you know these people? Where do you know them? How long have you known them? All that. He's like, I've known this person 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, all the names that we've been hearing. She asked him about and said this. One thing that I did think was interesting, right? First of all, he was clearly high or coming down off his high. He looked like he was feeling good, like he was in the zone, right? He was extremely cooperative with the testimony. We've seen a lot of people give testimony that have been either like put in jail or had their lives thrown off from the state trying to make them testify and all that. of everybody who's been put in these situations, and he's not even a co-defendant in this trial. He's like an unindicted co-conspirator. His energy was all around good for a person in the circumstance he was in. I'm gonna be real. And he seemed to be a lot less affected by it than all of the stuff that was going on Twitter this whole week. Like, people was on social media like pissed off, like, we need to have a civil rights rally. We got to raise money for Lil D. We don't want Lil D to die up there. If Lil D gets on a stand, he might, get too stressed out, have a sickle cell crisis. Like, I'm gonna tell you, and everybody ended up seeing it. Lil D's demeanor was extremely calm. He was chilling. He really seemed like he didn't care. You see what I'm saying? So I thought that was interesting. He was less combative than Antrevia Smith. She was tripping, and nobody locked her up. My man leaves the hospital, gets locked up, and he gets on the stand, and he's cooler than everybody. He had no problem answering questions. He was answering questions straight. Of course, he was, fibbing about some stuff. They asked him who the Rock Crew is, and he said it's an R&B group. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his sister was there. I told y'all earlier, his sister she was sitting next to me. I didn't realize it was her at first until when the doctor was on Zoom. The doctor was like, he has to take this medication for his pain or whatever. He wasn't on morphine. And his sister like whispered under her breath. She said, he's allergic to morphine. I said, that your brother? She was like, yeah, that's my brother. So yeah, she was there for sure. I think his mom was there. There was a couple other people that was there for him, but I don't know who they were. But they was clearly there for him though, right? But I know his sister, and I think that was his mom that was there, right? So, but yeah, he was completely, his energy was just calm. He was chilling. Like, I guess that's what OxyContin do for you, but he wasn't combative at all. He definitely didn't have the demeanor of a person that was going to duck out on testifying. So we find out pretty much they locked him up because of something his dad called the state and said. So they didn't even lock him up for anything he ever did or said. He told them, if y'all subpoena me to testify, whenever y'all tell me to come up here, I'll be there. Don't make me come up here before that. His dad called them, said something crazy, and they said, oh, we got to go lock him up because he's not going to come. Right? So I thought it was crazy that you could lock this man up for something that he didn't even say. And he even said in front of the court, like, I can't make him say no. I didn't say that. I didn't tell him to say that. I can't make him say nothing. And I'm a grown man. I'm 31 years old. I don't have to listen to nothing he say. So why would y'all even take his word? He didn't say this part. He's like, why would y'all even take his word for something that got to do with me? I'm grown. Like, I didn't tell y'all that I wasn't going to come. So, but pretty much, like I said, a person in his situation, I thought it was extremely interesting how calm he was about the whole thing, right? Answering questions, whether they're lies or not, he was answering. So this is not a Kenneth Copeland type of situation. Woody felt like they was trying to trick him into admitting to something. Lil D is like, yeah, I don't have no problem coming up here talking about that shooting because I already been convicted. I already pled guilty to it. I already took a plea deal in the case. I don't have no problem talking about it. Yeah. I pulled up to my cousin's house. These people started shooting at my cousin's house. We followed them back to that house. When they got out the car, we started shooting. He'd have no problem explaining. Yeah, me and Lil D got out the car, started shooting. Mook Tunk stayed in the car. We was shooting. We got back in the car and we drove off. Then we was riding around. We bumped into them somewhere else at this apartment complex and we started shooting at them again. He had no problem explaining all of that, right? So they haven't really asked him about much else yet. Not yet. I'm sure they're going to get to the night. Well, they did ask about the night of Donovan Thomas' murder. He said he was in bed all day because he was sick. He said he ended up eventually getting a call he said he didn't remember who it was, but he think it might have been Mook Tunk that called him and said, hey, Nut got killed. They asked him what he did after he got that call. He said, I went back to sleep. I was sick, right? So he was out of there. He definitely felt like he didn't have nothing to do with the murder. He said he don't got no information on it, whatever, like the Donovan Thomas murder. He don't have no information. And I don't think the state is trying to assert that he has any information on that Donovan Thomas murder. Now, then they get into like what happened the day after. He's like, yeah, we went down to Miami because Young Thug had a show and I was helping out, sell merch and all this type of stuff. So pretty much what it seems like is that he's doing a good job just answering the questions. I don't think they're ever going to come back and try to hit him with no perjury, nothing like that. They're asking him about the interviews. Did you say this? He's like, yes, I said that. So he's probably the first person on the stand from like co-conspirator side that actually remembers everything that he was saying in those interviews back in 2015. And he was saying like, yeah, I was high every day, but he's like, yeah, I remember saying that. I said that. Some of the stuff he's saying, I lied about this, I lied about that. And then these other things, I definitely said it. I know why I said it. It was the truth. It is what it is. So, I mean, this witness is very uneventful. And not uneventful because it's not like there's not funny parts. There's definitely funny parts. It's uneventful in the fact that the state don't have to really impeach him. He's answering questions straightforward. Like, yes, I said that. Yes, I said that. Yes, I said. So when it comes time to like play these interviews and all that, I don't know if they're going to be able to play the full interview like they did with Woody. They're going to have to play the exact pieces that he said he lied about, which is when he said that Shannon was with them when they went and shot these cribs up. Now, he told us today, the reason he put Shannon in it is because Lil D, like Demeke and Garlington, put Moontunk in it. And he felt like, okay, so since you told on my man, my close, very, very, very close homeboy, I'm going to put your very close homeboy in it, which is Shannon Stillwell, even though Shannon Stillwell wasn't there. So it was pretty much like a snitch for a snitch. Like, you told on me, let me tell back on you. Or you told on my homeboy, let me tell back on your homeboy type of thing. He was like, I was lying on Shannon because Lil D put my mans in it, and I didn't like that. It was very crazy. It was crazy to admit something like that, but I mean, that's what he said. He said, I told on him because he told on my guy. Now, I think it's interesting that this person's name is Justice for Miss Love, Miss Love's Chair. They put the green heart in a snake emoji. When Love asked him about that emoji, he said, I don't know, it looked like a little green duck. Hilarious. I thought it was like Lil D is giving us some funny stuff, but he's also answering the question straightforward. You know what I'm saying? So he's not putting himself in a position to, after he gets done with his testimony, he's not putting himself in a position to be locked up later. Now, one thing, he said that we cutting up down bad. Oh, he the one that told him that? All right, so one thing that he did say, so Lil D has clearly been paying attention to social media because he definitely made sure to let it be known. I know Gaither because Demekian's aunt, they were smashing. Let's play that part because that is very interesting that he got that out. And I'm going to tell you something. It flustered Mrs. Love, or Miss Love, right? It flustered her. It threw her off. Let's play that part real quick. It threw Miss Love off. At first, she didn't think about it. And then she asked for it to be stricken from the record, right? Let's go to that video here. Lil D is a troll.
Know who Detective Gaither is?
Yes.
How do you know who Detective Gaither is? Have you met her before?
Demeke and Garlington auntie was fucking her. I mean, excuse me, Judge. But they had a relationship.
So know who Detective Gaither is?
Yes.
How do you know who Detective Gaither is? Have you met her before?
Demeke and Garlington auntie was fucking her. I mean, excuse me, Judge. But they had a relationship.
So know who?
Yeah. He's a troll, but that was funny though, I ain't gonna lie. That was funny. So we all found this out because I think it was Zachary's dad. Quindarrius Zachary's dad went on and said that Gaither was married to Lil D, Demeke and Garlington's aunt, right? So that's pretty much what Zachary just said on the stand. That yeah, I know her from that. Like that's Lil D's aunt. That's Lil D's aunt's work right there. They was smashing. So and then Love asked to get that stricken from the record. Which why? But I mean the judge did say, all right, we'll strike that. I don't get why though, because you asking him about how he knows Gaither and all that instead of saying something about the interview. Why would you ask him how he knows her? And then when he tell her, now when he tells you how he knows her, now you want to strike it. Why? Because the jury now knows that the person y'all put on the stand to testify about these people is actually an insider and actually wasn't doing really any investigation. She was getting the information from her girlfriend about her girlfriend's nephew. So now we want to strike it. So that's the reason there's no notes from Gaither. She didn't take notes. She was getting her information from dinner, family dinner, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Now we know. Now we know why Woody was calling her so much, because Woody and Demikian Garlington was right-hand men's. He probably was over there. Demikian Garlington actually lived with Gaither at some point. It's interesting that she never mentioned that while she was on the stand. She never said, hey, guys, the guy that y'all are indicting in this whole thing, the guy that y'all are talking about, he used to live in the house with me. She just conveniently left that out. Ain't that crazy? It's very interesting stuff here. So where we at now? So we just jumping around. The really Lil D, he pretty much went through his time. Like I said, he was answering questions. He was very willing to purge himself of any contempt order, and he was testifying. And I don't really think that he gave them anything else that they didn't already have with his conviction from 2015 about the shooting back then, right? Or 26, whenever the conviction actually happened. I don't think he gave him anything but that. He's saying, I don't know nothing really about nothing else, and this is all I know. I don't know who was Rock Crew. I wasn't Rock Crew because I'm not from there. I'm from Capitol Homes. You know what I'm saying? I thought Trontavia Stevens with that, but it sounds like you just said he wasn't. So I'm saying I definitely seen him rep YSL, but I don't know for sure about the Rock Crew thing. This is what he's saying. So I don't think he's giving them anything other than the things he was already convicted of and that he knows about, right? So then by the end of the day, one of the jury members gets sick. Jury member gets sick, throws up, has to leave. They cannot reconvene. The judge is like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to keep Lil D in jail. Let's let him go to a hotel. We cannot release him to the public because the state is worried that his dad is going to corrupt him and have him saying things that we don't think he should be saying on the stand. Let's keep him away from his dad. We're going to put him in a hotel. We're going to have him supervised by some of our people. And his mom and his sisters, they can visit him. His dad need to stay away. And the judge even said that's in front of the world. We got to keep you away from your dad. And I did think it was an interesting exchange earlier during testimony where Lil D was saying, he was telling Miss Love, do you want to get my dad up here? She was like, no, I'm talking to you. He was like, oh, because you don't want to, why you don't want to get my dad up here. She's like, why not? He was like, you know why? She said, why not? Are you going to tell the jury? He was like, because you know why. So I would like them to put me in the group chat here. Tell me why Miss Love does not want to put that man on the stand. What does he know, or what is he going to say that Miss Love doesn't even want to have a conversation with him? This is very interesting to me, right? So, I guess maybe we'll find that out at some point. Who knows? No, Annabelle, the judge did not want to leave early today. The judge said, when the jury member went home and when they told Quindarrius Zachary, the judge actually said, okay, what else can we deal with this afternoon? And it was Miss Love who said, can we please handle this on Monday? I need to go get this order drafted up so I can get Quindarrius Zachary released and we could change up his whole situation. I got to find somebody that can do this. So the judge was actually trying to continue working. She was going to keep them.